Hello again, Alan here. So I'm going to talk you through today about what we've done with our database. So if database stuff is like watching paint dry to you, please switch this video off now. Okay, so for the rest of you, um, I in Corona, this took a lot of work to get up and running. Originally, I was trying to do it with Google Fusion tables. If you haven't heard of Google Fusion tables, they're pretty handy function. So let me just go on to Gmail here. Actually, it's my Drive. And so if we go to create a Fusion table, now it's one of these experimental apps. You have to add it into Google, and create an empty table. Next, and there it is. It's basically it's an Excel sheet that a database that works like a database. And you've got rows, you've got tables, you've got columns, you've got fields. So I thought that and it's Google, like, so this is going to be a really good thing a really good function to have, because we've got Google's API on board then. And I got it up and running. I got it working. Um, um, well, when I say I got it working, I mean I got something working. I got the user logged in on the app, with their Gmail login, but then the Google's authorization process is ridiculous. It's actually just ridiculous. Now, and there's a lot of help out there if you're using OAuth with Twitter, or so you can pretty much just copy some other people's stuff that they put up there for you to take. But with Fusion tables, I was working in the dark. No one had ever used it with Corona before. I thought this would be good as well, but had to scrap it, and I went with a native database. So I'm just gonna show you here what's happening. So when the user dies, the game calls the death zone function. So in the death zone function, it basically here, if the level is 1, this is the whole big list of death zones in level 1. Now this isn't localized yet. I'm gonna get this out to a JSON and just pull them in. It would be much more efficient than hard coding them all like this. Yeah, what's that remove timers thing doing? Yeah, that's just a function for the text. Yeah. So as with any Lua Corona file, start at the bottom. So if death ID, so if there is a death ID from here, then upload the data. So display the text, put a timer on it, remove the text after 2 seconds, save the URL as the URL of my database, and then encode it to base 64, and then use a HTTP post, network.request, send that URL with the death ID. So that's yes, the death ID will be, so say if the person dies in jump number 2, the death will be 2. Death ID will be 2. So that's going to be the primary key. That is the primary key of the database, the death ID. Then we're just getting the information that's in that slot of death ID in the database. So if 10 other people died at that slot, or if there's 10 deaths in that at that jump, this here will return 10. So the get callback here is the function that handles the return from that HTTP post. So if it's an error, display the error text, remove the upload text. That's about it. Or we save the response as a decoded JSON in the actually I'll show you the PHP now that does that. So this is the get PHP. I've X'd out my database password, not that anyone would really care to use it, but I suppose it's just common practice. we connect to it, we decode the base 64 encoded ID, then we select all from level 1 table where the death ID equals ID, which is what's been sent with the HTTP post in the URL. Then if there's no database result, query fails, send a fail message. If there is a result, send the message success with the number of deaths and the death ID encoded as a JSON. So that's why in the upload data we have to decode the JSON. This all seems fairly straightforward when you see it here, but it's pretty hard to get up and running. So hopefully this helps someone out there. So 200 just means success. That's what the database will post back, or the PHP script that I wrote. Actually, I can't take credit for all of this. I did get this get script from a tutorial on Corona with JSON, and then just changed it all from my own database. So then we increment the deaths. So data.deaths is going to be the deaths in the JSON by 1. So here, if I actually if I print out data, you'll be able to see the contents of the JSON from the database. So this is working live, but I think I've commented out for testing because I don't want to. So what's this called? Upload data. Yeah, I've commented out because I don't want it updating the database just when I'm testing it. So now that's going to work live. So in the print screen of Corona, we should be able to see the results from the database there. So here's the terminal. So let's just die the first jump. Here we go, she's dead. And response. So I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. I can't make it any wider. I'll try and zoom in maybe in post editing of this video. But yeah. So result is 200. So the success message success. The ID is 1 and the deaths are 15. So there's a total of 15 people, or people have died 15 times at jump number 1. So as you can see already, this is great for difficulty checking. So we can see, if 100 people died on jump number 2, but only 15 died on jump number 1, then that tells us that jump number 2 is way too difficult. And possibly jump 1 is too easy. It just depends on the frequency and the amount of people that use them. You know yourself. So then data.deaths. So in here, this is data, and .deaths will be 15. So deaths is equal to data.deaths, and then we just increment it by 1. So deaths equals deaths plus 1. So it's now 16. And then we just post that to the database and overwrite what's already there. So encode the death ID, and then concatenate that with the deaths also encoded. And I'm using a get here, even though I'm posting. I know it's not secure, but to be honest, I don't really care about security. It's just posting to a database that no one else has access to, and no one else really cares because there's no sensitive information in there. And I am encoding it anyway as base 64, so it's not too bad. So then this is my post. It's a lot easier. Connects to the database. It gets the ID, decodes it, and it decodes the deaths, and then it updates. So update is an SQL query that overrides anything in this place where I'm going to specify now. So update level 1 set deaths is equal to deaths where. So basically overwrite deaths in level 1 where death ID is equal to the ID in here. Then could not update or update successfully, and that's it. And then I'll actually show you here deaths 16. So 16, it was 15 here, it incremented it by 16, and this is actually after it has posted to the database, so that's it working. So if I do it one more time, this here should be 16 and this number will be 17. Here we go. If this doesn't work now, it's going to be pretty embarrassing, isn't it? There we go, 1670. Done. And that's how I'm connecting to a database with Corona. And yeah, that's about it.